Hello, my friends. Today we're going to be looking at some very weird meshlight behaviors in Poser. So, a follower of the channel, Ellis, contacted me and asked me to teach him how to do meshlights on Poser, and it sent me down a whole thing. And I'm going to do a video on meshlights for you another time, Ellis. I'll just give you the executive summary now. Mesh lights are lights which are formed by having ambient illumination or emissive properties on objects. So it could be a square, a sphere, a light bulb, car headlights, that kind of thing. Or it could be a more abstract shape, eyes of a vampire, something like that. So I started looking into it and I noticed that Poser did some really strange things. So what we have here is a very simple scene. We have a Victoria 4, doesn't matter what stuff she's wearing, just in a bit of a pose. We have a single omni light over here, or point light, just so that I can see what I'm doing. And I've got a square here, and the square, if I go into hidden line, you'll see is just a single polygon. Let me move in closer. So here, just a single polygon, four-sided polygon, okay? A quad, I guess you'd call that. And what I've done is I've given a material to this up here, and it's a very simple material. All I've done is given it an ambient color of white and an ambient value of 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the light off now. So take the lights, turn it off, and immediately the scene goes dark. And the reason is that Poser doesn't calculate ambient light except at render time. So we'll do a quick render. Let me just set the quality to low for now. So optics fast, render. So this is not going to be the best quality lighting, and you can see, in fact, I want to show you the floor when we do this. Right, so just render that again. And you'll see for some strange reason, Victoria 4 default has actually got ambient eyes and teeth as well, which is a weird way of doing it. Okay, now I'm just going to see how long it takes to render high quality, because we're going to be looking at the ground here. But there's a few different things going on in this which are really strange. You're really going to want to pay attention to this if you start using ambient for yourself. So this is ambient on a multiplier of 100. So a value of 100, which is very high, but the default is meant to be 1, and 1 will give you whatever color you use. So supposing this was orange, we'd still see this as orange. As soon as I start going above 1, then the color bleeds out of the original object, although it does cast ambient in the color, whichever color we applied to it. So we can see here we've got these kind of light distortion waves around here, and we've got this character kind of a bit dark, so we want to increase the lightness. Now this is the first weird thing. Okay, so if I take the object here, it's obvious that to increase the lightness using ambient, we're going to increase the value. So let's just times that by 100. So we'll go to 10,000. Oh, well, we'll try it. Let's see how it goes. 10, 1, 2, 3,000. And we'll render that. Okay, that's good. You can still see these noise patterns here. Obviously, I'm not in the optimum position to shine under her hair. Another problem with ambient is that it casts flat light, which is to say there's no specularity on this scene. It's just very simple black shadows, which would make this quite useful for cartoon lighting if you want if you don't want lots of detail, although there are settings for that anyway. But right, so that's a lighting of 10,000. Okay, now what you can find, let me just go to a top camera and zoom out a bit. Okay. I suspect I'm outside the construct here. Let me zoom back in then. Let's have a look. Render. There we go. So the construct is the default thing that you get when you load the scene. Okay, I've got to find the point here. Okay, I'm going to turn that other light back on so I can see what I'm doing here. Just to remind you, by default, your scene is surrounded by this thing called the construct, which is the background scene. It's like a semi-dome with a floor on for your characters to stand on. So if I go back to my auxiliary camera and zoom out, you can see here I'm outside the dome now. Okay, so apparently I was outside it when I went my top camera here. So I want to go far enough so that I can see. Okay, let me just see if that renders okay. Okay, that's fine. Right, so let's turn off this light. Render again. Okay, it's not doing it now, typical. But what can happen is you get strange noise patterns on the floor as you turn up the brightness. Now, there's another way to turn up the brightness actually. I'm just going to show you that. Back to my auxiliary camera. Turn my light back on so as I can see what I'm doing. Go into the material room. So I'll turn that back down to 100. But this is quite a strange thing. When I increase the size of the square, so we'll make that 500 say. The scale is now up to 500. Let me turn the light back off. And render that now. Here we go. So as I increase the scale of the square, the brightness goes up, but the noise patterns increase dramatically. It's strange. If you think of the, this is not, how can I think of it? I guess if you think of the sun, if the sun were an inch across, it wouldn't shine as much light across that surface area as it does the size that it actually is, which I assume is millions of miles across, hundreds of thousands of miles. I don't know how big the sun is. But the larger the emitter or the larger the square, the more brightness it shines into your scene. But the cost here is that you get these noise patterns. But here's something that I've discovered that's quite interesting. If you take your square here and you start putting subdivision onto it, now render, lovely smooth render again. So this is now whatever it was for 16 polygons. Remember, this was just a single polygon. Then I increased the size of it, the scale of it, but I didn't increase the number of polygons. Okay, so you can see that floor's great. I can mess about with the value here. Maybe take that down to 5 instead of 100. And it's a balance between the size and the brightness. There you go. That's kind of working out quite nice. And we get these lovely soft shadows, soft kind of shadows underneath the figure now, yeah? But if I show you that now in the hidden wire, you'll see 16 polygons or quads instead of just one. So if I turn this back down, now it's one, but that creates the noise. So if you ever have an object which you want to be a meshlight imposer, you may find that you need to increase the subdivision levels with this, and then that will automatically take the render levels up as well, so that you get these soft shadows without the noise. It's a strange thing to discover, but it's obviously a quirk of Poser. And it's a way to make mesh lights behave better. Ellis, I will do a slightly fuller video on mesh lights, but this is the basic principle of making a mesh light. You go into your material, you increase you set the ambient color, which is the color of your light, and you set the ambient value, and then you jiggle that along with the scale of your object. And if you get noise, you subdivide it more. Now, I will just say one more thing. If you're using physical surface or cycles, what you might want to do here, if I change the root node here to physical surface, which is the better physically based rendering root node. So this is the old poser surface node, and that works for all legacy content. But if you want more realistic stuff, you choose the physical surface or the cycles node. The cycles node is compatible with what's the 3D program called? Blender. Blender builds materials using the cycles node, but it's awfully complicated. Physical surface is easier to use. And if you're using this, instead of ambient, we're going to have emission here. So this is emission color, this is emission strength. And Heriberto would kill me if I didn't mention to set the color, you're better off to use, according to him, the lighting node, the what's it called? Black body node, which sets the color using Kelvin. So 1500 Kelvin's very much towards the red end. Say 7500 is towards the blue or white end. Okay, that's white. Let's go to 5600, I think is daylight. 5600, kind of going towards halfway between the two. 6500. There you go, that's daylight, 6500. He prefers this. Now, I will do a quick video about black body sometime, because black body actually gives you a very different effect when you use it for ambient, but I'm not going to talk about it now because I want to keep this fairly quick. So just an interesting little thing there when you're creating mesh lights. And as I say, Ellis, I will talk about mesh lights a little bit more in another video. I've already recorded it, but I wasn't happy with it, so I'm going to have to record it again. I will speak to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching.